はい、それでは、続いてのプログラムとなります、WWF インド、リシ、シャルマさんから、ユキヒョウと共に生きると題しまして、西ヒマラヤのユキヒョウの保全についてお話をいただきます。では、リシさん、お願いします。
Thank you so much. Good afternoon and a very warm welcome to all of you. Thank you so much for coming to listen to this brief talk about snow leopards. So just look at this image of the snow leopard here and think what comes to your mind. So usually when we think of snow leopards, when we imagine snow leopards, we think of something really wild, something really remote, and something which is far away, distant from all of us. And as the speaker before me said, snow leopards live in high mountains, in very rugged terrain. So in these high, misty mountains, snow leopards really paint a picture of a very powerful and a very, very mysterious predator. But in fact, this image of a snow leopard alone in the mountains is just part of the story. The fact is that snow leopard is not really living alone. It's living amongst people, it's living with livestock, and where snow leopards live, their life is constantly shaped by climate, the livestock, the wild ungulate prey, and the people, the mountain communities with whom it shares the space. So today you heard about the snow leopards, their habitat, and kind of places they live in. And you must have seen the snow leopard in the zoo as well. But here I'm going to tell you the story of the snow leopards where they live in the wild, in the mountains of the Himalayas. So this story really starts in the northern part of India, in the mountains called as Himalayas. So this image you see here is from Ladakh, and this region where we are working is called as Changthang. So this in fact is a very unique place. You heard the fact that snow leopards live at elevation of 3,000 to almost 5,500 meters, very high up in the mountains. The temperatures here go down to minus 40 degrees Celsius in winters. The air is very thin, the oxygen levels are very low, and it's a very harsh landscape to survive in. So if you look at the snow leopard habitat like a bird's eye view from the top, it almost looks barren. It looks like there is no life here in these mountains. That's how it appears. But the fact is that it's really teeming with a lot of unique wildlife, many species which have adapted to live in high mountain systems, and they are not found anywhere else in the world. So here are some of those species. So snow leopard, in fact, as I mentioned, it's not living alone. It's living with a lot of other wildlife, including Himalayan brown bears, the Himalayan wolves, lynx. It's a very, very rare species. Again, very difficult to see. And next slide, please. And also some of the cute little animals like marmots. They're also snow leopard's food, in fact. And this is Tibetan gazelle. Just about 50 of them remain today in the mountains of Ladakh. This is a Pallas's cat, another very rare, very unique cat species from the Himalayas. And that's a golden eagle. A lot of birds also share the space with snow leopards in these habitats. So when you looked at the images before, it looks like a system which is, the mountain seems to be flourishing, they seem to be full of wildlife. And the local communities who are dependent on this ecosystem. But the fact is, a lot of things are changing very rapidly. The winters in the Himalayas have become very warm. The snowfall patterns, which used to be predictable earlier, people knew when snowfall is going to happen, which season, which month. Now the people cannot really predict. They have lost that ability to predict because of climate disruption. And as a result, the pastures, the ground that you see here, the grass on which the life of people, the communities, their livestock, and also the wildlife, they are all dependent on these pastures. So now everything is getting affected because of the change in the climate that is happening in the Himalayas. So one thing that you might have noticed in the slides that I've shown so far is there are no trees. That's why it's called as a rangeland ecosystem. There are typically grass. There are no trees in this region in the Himalayas beyond an elevation of 3,000. It's a completely rangeland alpine habitat. There are no trees that grow at that altitude. And these rangelands, we call them rangelands, that's a technical term. They are the very foundation of life in the Himalayas. As I mentioned earlier, they have a very important role to play in regulating waters, in storing carbon. They are very important wildlife habitat for a lot of species. Even in this slide, you can see two different species. There is Kiang in the background, and you see a black-necked crane in the fore. So here is the snow leopard. It's one of the most important top predator of the Himalayas. It's at the top of the food chain. That was mentioned earlier as well, I believe. And for us, it's not just about counting snow leopards. Knowing their numbers is important because their population has been declining. So how do we know that? Unless we are able to count them, we cannot judge if their population is stable or declining. But more importantly, they serve as a very important indicator of ecological balance. If snow leopard populations are doing well, it indicates that the entire ecosystem is functioning well in the Himalayas. But if something goes wrong with snow leopards, if their population declines, that means something is missing, something is going wrong with the ecosystem. So you also heard about how rare snow leopards are in the world, in the wild. Globally, there are just about 3,000 perhaps. But last year, with the help of Government of India, we did a national exercise to estimate snow leopard population in India. So we were able to figure out that there are about 718 snow leopards in the country across the Indian Himalayas, and about 477 of those are in Ladakh itself, because Ladakh is one of the largest and one of the most important habitat for snow leopards in our country. And one thing which is really, really important to note is that, unlike many other big cats, there are tigers, there are lions, jaguars, snow leopards have very large home ranges, and they are very rare. On an average, you will find only one snow leopard in about 100 square kilometers of an area in the Himalayas. And I'm talking about average here. Some of the snow leopards can have home ranges which can be as large as 1500 square kilometers. That's why it's so difficult to find and spot them in the wild. So in the wild, snow leopards breed between January and March, and after 3 months in the spring, they give birth to young ones. It's becoming difficult for snow leopards to also breed successfully in the wild now due to climate disruptions that are happening. And due to a lot of anthropogenic human disturbances and threats which are increasing, snow leopards are finding it more and more difficult to breed successfully, even in the wild. So here I just wanted to tell the audience where snow leopards are found in India. This part, all the shaded part you see is snow leopard habitat in the country. These are the Western Himalayas, the state of Ladakh, Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal, Uttarakhand. This entire Western Himalayan part is snow leopard habitat. The habitat continues through Nepal. This is Nepal. And then you can see the tiny part in the Eastern Himalayas in India. This is a state called as Sikkim. And this is Arunachal. We have snow leopard all across this region in the country. So I think you already heard about this, so I will not spend much time here. These are the two main prey, very important prey for snow leopards. You have blue sheep on the left and another species called as ibex on the right. So these are some of the very important threats that snow leopards are facing in the world globally. If you look at the entire snow leopard habitat, less than 6% of that habitat in the wild is formally protected by the governments. More than 90% is outside of the protected areas. And sometimes snow leopards also kill a lot of livestock, and livestock is very important for the economy of local people who live there. So as a result, sometimes the herders, they get angry and they also kill snow leopards as revenge or as a retaliation for killing livestock. That is almost 55% of the annual mortality or death of snow leopards in the wild. So climate is one of the very important and overarching threats, because climate is not only affecting snow leopards and wildlife, it's also affecting local people and how they behave or tolerate the wildlife. Because due to climate, there is stress on the grasslands, so it's very difficult for people to live in that kind of a situation. So earlier when people would be okay with snow leopard killing one or two sheep or goat, now because they're also stressed out due to climate, their tolerance has gone down. So this is another spot the snow leopard contest. Take some time. Can you see a snow leopard in this image? So snow leopards are very well camouflaged, and if you couldn't find one, don't feel bad, because a species like ibex, whose life depends on its ability to spot snow leopards, has no clue where the snow leopard is. The snow leopard is right here, if you can see. Yeah, so I'll briefly talk about now the local people, the communities who live in the mountains. So these are people who are nomads. They depend completely on livestock. They keep moving from one place to the other in the mountains. And they have been living there for several millennia, many generations. And their livelihood and their life is now getting affected due to climate change. So because of the result of climate change, what has recently started happening is the pastures have started shrinking. There is less grass in the mountains, and as a result, people cannot keep as much livestock as they need for their survival. And because pastures are shrinking, there is more competition between wild ungulates, the wildlife, and livestock and people. So it is also reducing the tolerance that people have towards wildlife. Okay, so I'll now tell you a very brief story about why this work, how did we started this work. So I was a young PhD student 15 years ago studying snow leopards in the Western Himalayas in the mountains. And while I was returning from a snow leopard survey and expedition, these three women, they were working in the fields in the mountains. They grow paddy and peas, green pea. And we had a really nice conversation. They were very kind, warm, and generous, as most mountain people are. But towards the end of our conversation, they told me two things. One is, can you take your blue sheep away because they are damaging our fields? And the second was, can you do something about snow leopards because they kill a lot of our livestock? Because you are a snow leopard researcher, so you might know what to do about these problems. Yeah, so that really made me think that conservation is not just about science, it's also about emotions and supporting people who live in the mountains. So this is what I was mentioning earlier. These kind of incidents where snow leopards, when they enter inside a livestock pen, the place where livestock is kept for the night, a shelter, they tend to kill not just one or two animals, they kill multiple. Sometimes the numbers go up to 30 as well. They cannot eat every animal, but it's a cat, so it goes on a hunting spree and kills many more livestock. And that's when conflicts becomes very high because people cannot tolerate that kind of loss economically. So what we realize is that we cannot take snow leopards out because they are already endangered species. So what should we do? We realize that we must reduce the risk that local people face because of living so close, living so, within the same habitat where snow leopards are. We need to build their resilience of their economy and their life, and we need to build strong community institutions that can help their own communities live with the snow leopard in the long run. So this is some of the work that we do to reduce the risk that local communities face. What you see in that picture is called a predator or snow leopard proof corral. Snow leopard cannot enter inside that kind of structure. So on this image, this is a old traditional livestock pen, and that's a new one that WWF built with all your support. So you see that kind of corral, snow leopard cannot get inside. So it prevents snow leopards from killing livestock and therefore reduces livestock losses and conflict with communities. I just wanted to add a little bit tiny context here. You see the snow leopard sleeping here. Snow leopards get so tired after killing so much livestock that they cannot move. But because we have been working very long with the communities, they have good tolerance. They don't kill snow leopards. They will inform us or the government that please come and take the snow leopard away. So that's a really good thing that has happened recently. We also, as I mentioned, we work with communities, but our program is a very strong science-based program. We survey snow leopards using camera traps to understand how their population is changing, if it is stable or decreasing or increasing also, possibly. We also count their prey species, the food species, to see if they are doing well, if their populations are okay. And we also monitor the health of the grassland ecosystem, because everything is dependent on the health of the grassland, which is the really key thing here. So these grassland ecosystems that I spoke about, they themselves actually are a climate solution, because if we are able to protect them well, if we are able to conserve them well, with the work we are doing on snow leopards and with local communities, they serve as very important stabilizing factor when it comes to climate. They are able to store carbon, they are supporting a lot of wildlife, including snow leopards, and also the livelihood of people. So we are working on making sure that we can protect and conserve these rangeland ecosystems. So here I just wanted to show you that now we work very closely with people, and they are the ones who decide what to do, where to graze, and they are doing it in a manner so that they can sustain their livelihood, their livestock, but they also leave spaces for wildlife and snow leopards. So communities are also supporting the work in which they can also thrive and wildlife can also survive. So they are now taking a lot of good decisions on their own. So here I just wanted to briefly mention that the work that we are doing is not just about snow leopards. It's multiple things which are happening simultaneously. You can look at those here. We are trying to ensure ecological stability of the place, see how we can mitigate the impacts of climate change, provide the livelihood security to local people, and also strengthen their institutions. So it's not just about snow leopards, because we have to work on all these elements if we have to protect that ecosystem. So we already are seeing the positive results of this work, because in many villages the livestock losses have declined a lot. The population of snow leopards and their important food species, it has become stabilized now, and people's tolerance, their attitudes towards snow leopard has become more and more positive in the project areas where we are working. So, I also wanted to share that no one can protect snow leopards alone. It's a shared commitment that all of us have, WWF India, WWF Japan, local communities, and I feel all of you here as well, the fact that you came here to listen to what's happening with the snow leopards, that's partnership, that's a joint collaborative effort that all of us are doing to secure their habitat and the species in the wild. So what can we do together? I think one of the most important things to do globally is to reduce the carbon emissions, because what is happening globally is affecting the Himalayas and the snow leopard habitat also. And we need to invest a lot in good science, because without science, our decisions are not based on good information and good knowledge. And we need to strengthen the global partnerships. So I'm very thankful that all of you listen to this with so much of interest, because that shows that while the problem is in the Himalayas, we are trying to protect the snow leopards in the Himalayas, there is a global interest from all of you as well towards this species. So essentially at the end, what I wanted to say is that you cannot protect snow leopards in isolation. It really requires that we balance local people's livelihood, the climate issues, and good science and good conservation. Only if we are able to balance all of these together, we can create a balance in the Himalayas, and we will be able to protect the snow leopards. So thank you very much for listening patiently. Thank you.